Folks at home, welcome to Tank Tuesday, and we are finally back to the old style of Tank Tuesday. We've been chasing turtles for a little while, but now we are back dealing with the bass. And in case you're new, this is Bonnie on the left. She gains about an ounce a week. Clyde right beside her, and the big boy Sheriff over here hanging out up under his log. We've got a few plants in here, and if you notice, some of these plants right here are trimmed down to nubs. We got another one sitting back there under Sheriff that's trimmed down to nubs. So we have a mysterious crawfish that lives in this tree limb right here. It's hollow, and it's not Hercules. Hercules lives under this rock right here. That's that big, bold, brute crawfish. But one day I came in here, and right under this log there was a tiny crawfish, and I think that came from whenever I dropped about 4 or 5 in just to see if the fish wanted to eat them. Well, one of them survived. Here's a quick look at him. Now let's check in on our 55-gallon tank. Moby, our smallest bass, right there front and center like always. But the newest member of the family, the pet turtle. Let's see where he's hanging out. Oh, he's over here. Look at him eating. He's eating the frog bit. This little guy will eat anything you put in front of him. That brings me to another point. We're going to put some more live plants in his tank later on in the video. But just check him out. He's a growing boy. He likes to eat. Heisenberg, our electric blue crawfish, lives down in this tank, and we finally created our crankbait that mimics our blue crawfish. And we have a bunch of them in stock at our tackle shop, BamaFrogs.com. And I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek to show you how good they work. Liz and I went out this past weekend, and it was her first trip in over a year, and she caught a giant within the first 30 minutes on this crankbait. So shout out to Heisenberg. That video will be coming out this upcoming weekend. And in our last video, we asked you to help us name this turtle. But what we're going to do is sit here and watch him throughout this video, and then we'll name him at the end. Alright, we just dropped the baby turtle in some pellet food. They recommend giving him a protein diet as well, so we'll probably go out and get some earthworms or some type of fish later this week. Folks, our smallest pet bass, Moby, has been a bad bass. This morning I wake up to Liz screaming at me, saying Moby's trying to eat our catfish. Liz, tell them what happened.
Yeah, so I heard some splashing in there early this morning. I went in there, and Moby had whiskers halfway inside of his mouth.
Now, whiskers is our biggest catfish. That's the channel catfish, and here's just a quick size comparison from our last video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then I went in there and I tapped on the glass, and he finally let him go. So Whisker swam down to the bottom. He was doing good. He was kind of breathing a little bit heavy. So I ran in there and woke up Steven, and I said, what do I do? And he said, well, just feed him some minnows. so I fed him minnows.
So Moby has gotten so hungry that he's trying to eat catfish now. So I had to go release our other 2 catfish. We had a small albino catfish and our channel cat. And I went and released both of those this morning because we don't want to have fish in a tank with other fish trying to eat them. So when I woke up, of course the YouTuber in me, first thing I asked her, Liz, did you get it on camera?
Of course not. I was just trying to save our fish at that moment.
I know, that's good. That's what you should have been doing. But when I went in there, he was even sizing up our albino catfish, so I knew I was going to have to release both of them. Since Moby acts like he's always starving, and now he's even trying to eat the other fish in the tank, we're fixing to run a little test on him. We're going to see exactly how many minnows this little guy right here can eat. He's long and lean, a little skinny in the midsection, so let's see if we can fatten you up. We're gonna go one at a time. So pretty decent sized minnows, not small, that's for sure. Alright, number 1. 1 down. Number 2 coming up. 2 down. He still seems alert, that top fin up, that means he's hungry and ready to eat another one. Spitting the scales out. While he finishes those 2, let's check in on the turtle. He's doing what he typically does, sunbathing up there at the top. That's his favorite little rock there. What I call his perch. All right, Moby, you got 2 down quick. Let's go for number 3. Still feisty. Got number 3 with no problem. See if his belly's starting to poke out a little bit. Man, I just can't see how a fish that small has an appetite for that many minnows yet. You can start to see his belly's starting to poke out a little. Still seems hungry. Let's go for number 4. All right, number 4. Got it. Uh-oh, might be starting to get a little full now, Moby. You're gonna sink down to the bottom with all those minnows inside of you. He's still hungry. He's following me around, so let's go for round number 5. I don't know, this may be the last one we put in there for you, Moby, but we'll see if you eat it. Got it. 5 minnows inside of this tiny little bass that probably weighs about 6 ounces. He just ate his body weight in minnows. Alright, yep, Moby's just a huffing and a puffing there. So I think he's finally gotten his fix of minnows. 5 minnows a day. That is pretty wild. Moby, before long we're going to have to put you in that 300-gallon tank. For the turtle tank, I bought a floating plant kit, and it includes frog bit, dwarf water lettuce, and water spangle. And you can tell that some of these guys have some roots on them. But I'm going to put probably just one of these. We've already put some frog bit in there and the turtle ate it, so I'm probably just going to put one of these in there and see what he thinks about each one of them. He's probably going to eat them right up, but I think we're going to go in with this one. Alright, we got some snacks in there for him. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Whenever he gets down off the perch, we'll see if he wants to eat any of the green variety. Alright, let's check in on the turtle. In our last video, we had over 5,000 comments on what we should name this little guy. The most popular names were Rocky, because he likes to eat the rocks, Bowser, Spike, Squirt, and Toby. Somebody said Toby would be good right beside Moby. So what we're going to do is, we couldn't make up our mind. There's a lot of good names for turtles, so we're going to do a poll tomorrow on YouTube with all of those names. And I guess if anybody suggests something tonight that everybody else likes, we'll add in to the poll. So if you got something other than those, you can leave that in the comment below. But whatever the most popular name is in the poll, that is what his name is going to be. So look for that tomorrow night, Wednesday night. Alright, let's check in on the baby. She loves watching this tank. That is her favorite thing to do. She enjoys Tank Tuesday just like the rest of us. Look at that smile. She will sit here and watch it all day if we would let her. What do you think, sweetie? Say, hey everybody. I enjoy Tank Tuesdays too. So it's been a little while since we've done anything with our 300-gallon tank, and I feel like we've kind of left out Bonnie, Clyde, and Sheriff. So I want you guys to leave me a comment below on what you think we should do with these. Either a feeding competition, or feeding them something different than they normally eat, or maybe even an artificial lure challenge to see what types of crazy things bass and bluegill will eat. So just leave a comment below and we'll try to make that happen. But now we're going to roll through some of our subscriber tank clips. Alright, our first clip comes from Kaylee, and it says, this is our turtle Dart for his late night feeding. And the next is a photo, and it comes from Ben's channel 2004. He says, I catch turtle, and the biggest one I caught was 47 pounds. That's a big turtle, dude. And the next clip comes from Mauricio. He says, this is me hand feeding my yellow bullhead catfish named Caddy. So I need some advice from you turtle owners. I got him some earthworms, and I dropped him an earthworm in while he was in the water, and then it just slipped through the cracks, and then he couldn't find it, but he could smell it and never could get to it. And then last night, I put one up there on his basking rock, and I'm pretty sure that he got to it and ate it. But how do you guys feed your turtle something that moves like that? Or do you just feed them dead worms? I was thinking about maybe getting him a small piece of fish or something like that and putting it on his rock right there, and then he could make his way up to it when he wanted to. But if you got any tips on how to feed him stuff other than floating pellets, leave that in a comment down below. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can join in with us every Tank Tuesday. We'll see you all next week.
Bonnie and Clyde were pretty looking people, but I can tell you people, they were the devil's children. Bonnie and Clyde began their afternoon down Savannah way. They robbed a store